What's good, fellas? Today I'll be going over the top 5 prospects of Dana White Contender Series so far. We've had some fantastic guys come through the show, get a contract. I've selected 7 guys. I'm going to have a couple honorable mentions, but 5 guys, if you have not been watching, these are some guys to look out for because I think they're going to have the brightest future in this sport. Look, I think some of these guys, man, my top 5, I really do believe they have a good future in this sport and, possible champions and possibly contenders. So, yeah, I'm going to get right into it. Here we go. First up for my honorable mention, I'm going to have Quillen Salkeed. So this guy fought Gage Young last week. It wasn't the brightest performance, most dominant performance, but he looked good, man. I believe he got 130-27. But look, the guy he fought, Gage Young, is a good fighter, no doubt. Gage Young, he might be in the UFC one day. I could see him being in the UFC. But Quillen Salkeed, the way that he fights, he's good, bro. He's really smooth. I watched a couple combinations that he threw, and it impressed me. He's very long for the lightweight division. He's got some good body work. He really loves to work that body. He's got a disgusting switch kick that'll throw in, and his grappling is great as well. My issues with him, a little bit of a bad gas tank. He gassed out a little bit, but it's something he can improve. This guy looks like a problem, man. I'm telling you that he did one move where he did a switch kick, body shot into a takedown, a double leg. It was just beautiful. It's on my Twitter. Man, I posted it. It was just a stunning, beautiful combination. And I'm telling you, man, this guy's got a future in this sport. I mean, he trains with Cody Haddon, who is a guy who's on this list. Spoilers alert. But both these guys are very good. Quillen is a lightweight, and he's big. Like I said, he's a long, tall frame, and he uses it well. I'd like to see him use it a little bit better, but I love what I've seen so far, man. He really rips the body, and, I love watching that, man. I do. As well as his switch kick. He loves to use that, and his grappling is fantastic as well. Like I said, it was a bit of a gas tank issue, but that's something he can fix maybe with the weight cut. But he's a big guy. You can see in this picture, man, he's not small. He's got a big frame. He's strong, wiry, lanky. He's a problem, and, a good striker, well-balanced everywhere. And we're starting to see this new age of MMA fighters, man, where they can do everything. And it's just going to make the sport better. But, yeah, I have him as my first honorable mention. Next up, I have Marco Tulio as another honorable mention. Marco Tulio, this is his second time. He actually beat, I can't remember the guy's name, but he beat him. It was Pereira's training partner, that fucking tall guy, 6'7" guy. But Marco Tulio came out there, beat him. Didn't get a contract, comes back this time versus Mathieu Duclos, who I picked Mathieu Duclos to win this fight. And knowingly, I knew Mathieu Duclos had staff, and I still picked him for some fucking reason. But anyways, look, not taken away from Marco Tulio. Good performance, man. He trains at Shoot Box. He's got a bright future. He's kind of a guy who brawls. He will stand. He likes to stand. He doesn't really like to take people down. Against Mathieu Duclos, if he would have took him down, I think he would have submitted him and beat him easily. But he wanted to show the striking, get the finish on the feet, and he did that with a nasty spinning back kick to the liver. Perfect shot. I mean, it landed right on the liver. Let's see if I have a picture. Yeah, there it is. Landed right on the liver, sat Duclos down, and he finished it from there. He's a good fighter, man. He's aggressive. Nonetheless, no matter if he's not that good in the UFC, he is fun to watch. He's got a very fun fight style. Obviously, all those guys at a Shoot Box do, except for Ian Gary, but he doesn't count. They don't claim him, I'm sure. But anyways, yeah. And then let's get moving on to my top 5. Number 5, I have Malcom Wellmaker, the guy from Georgia, man, my boy. Look, I've watched Malcom Wellmaker on the regional scene in person. I watched him fight his last regional fight. He's good, man. Obviously in this fight, he knocked out Adam Bramfield with a nasty counter right hand, sat him down, knew the fight was over. It was a beautiful shot, and this guy's good. He is a bantamweight, but he's a big boy. He's a big bantamweight, good striker. I think his takedown and his wrestling defense is great as well. He didn't really get to showcase any of that, but it's there. On the feet, there's lots to like about him. He's exciting. He's got a good, more of an elusive defensive style where he kind of slides in and out of the way of shots and moves his head a lot, kind of not with his hands down, but kind of sees the shots coming. He's fast too, and great timing, man. This guy is very good. I'm very excited to watch him. Obviously he's from Georgia. I got to support him. Like I said, I watched him But against that fight, or against Adam Bramfield, he was setting up the shot the whole fight. He knew it was going to be there. Adam Bramfield overextended on one of his, I believe it was a straight right hand, and got caught with a massive, massive right hand by Malcom Wellmaker on the temple. This guy is a problem. He's very fast too. Like I said, explosive. His boxing is really good. I didn't really get to see much of his kicks in any of his fights, but I did get to see in his regional fight a lot of takedown defense and scrambling ability, and it's good, man. And he's going to need it in the bantamweight division. There's a lot of great fighters there. Everybody's good. But yeah, I'm excited to see what this guy can do. My only knack is, he is 30 years old, which is a little bit on the older side, especially for the bantamweight division, but I could see him being a contender, man. He's ready, and that's the thing, is he's ready to move forward, and he's ready to fight. Some of these guys on the Contender Series that have won don't seem ready to me. That's and got contracts. Obviously you see Torres Finney, who's coming back for the third time. Look, he couldn't really figure out. He's not ready yet, but Wellmaker's ready. He's 30 years old. He's ready to go. I'd like to see him hop in there and take a decent matchup versus someone that's proven, really, that's, had a couple fights in the UFC. I want to see him fight someone high level and get moving. But yeah, Malcom Wellmaker is a problem. His striking is beautiful. Like I said, powerful, great timing, very fast as well. And I can't wait to see what this guy's going to do next. There's another picture, but next up, number 4, I have Cody Haddon. Obviously, I talked about him training with Quillan Salkeed. But what makes Cody Haddon a little bit better to me is his boxing. Yes, I talked about Quillan's, body shots. It's Cody's mixing it up. His timing, his boxing is fantastic. To go with it, a great ground game. I believe he's only lost one fight, and that was to Steven Erceg, a fight where he, was very, very competitive. I thought he won the fight, honestly. I rewatched it. I really thought Haddon won that fight. It was a close fight, though, nonetheless. But look, he comes in there, sits down Billy Brand, and submits him. Look, I picked Billy Brand to win this fight. I thought Billy Brand was a fantastic fighter. I still do think Billy Brand's very good. And if he continues, I watched an interview where he said he might not fight after this, but if he continues to fight, I think we could see Billy Brand in the UFC as well. He's a very good fighter. And, Cody Haddon came out there and got the work done easily, and it was very impressive. This guy's really well balanced. He's a bantamweight, another bantamweight. Bantamweight is just a fucking shark tank, bro. You're just hopping right in. Everybody's good. But he's young, too. I'm excited to see what this guy can do. I don't know how young he is exactly. He's 26. Okay. But he's another guy who I think is ready to go in there, man, and fight some good guys. He doesn't need time. He's good as fuck, man, on the ground. Versus Steven Erceg. Erceg had to wrestle him pretty much because Erceg couldn't stand with him. To be fair, Erceg is a flyweight. Cody Haddon is a bantamweight. But, look, Steven Erceg's a big ass flyweight. Let's be real here. But yeah, man, Cody Haddon is very good to me. I love his ground game. He got that choke in very fast against Billy Brand, sat him down with a beautiful hook. Good combinations, powerful too, man. Like I said, his boxing is great. I think he's won a lot of championships in boxing. But, dude, it's these new MMA fighters, bro. They're really good everywhere. I just think Cody Haddon's one of those guys who could be like a future top 10 to top 5 contender. I don't know about a champion, but, because bantamweight is legit crazy. But he's really fucking good, really well balanced, man. I love watching him fight. I can't wait to see more of him again, man. I'm going to say that for everybody on this list. Look, this is going to be the best Contender Series so far. It's only going to get better, too, which is the thing. I'm excited, bro. Cody Haddon is a problem, and I think I've really been impressed with his ground game because against Erceg, he did get taken down a couple times. Even though his wrestling against Erceg looked really good, it looked better here, and I think it is better, and I think this guy is a problem. So, yeah. Next up, I have Mansur Abdul-Malik. I think I said his name right. That's right. Mansur is more of a raw talent guy. I don't think Mansur is as ready as Wellmaker and as ready as Cody Haddon, but he's got a ton of talent. This guy's wingspan, man, what is his reach? 80-inch reach, 6'2", middleweight. He's a monster, a big-ass boy. He's huge. When I saw him step in that octagon, I'm like, is this dude really a fucking middleweight, man? Are you serious? like compared to him, Wes Schultz, it was a fucking beat down, man. I mean, it was brutal. I'm surprised Wes Schultz was, still alive at the end of that fight because it was one of the most brutal beatdowns I've seen in a long time. Mansur Abdul-Malik beat the hell out of Wes Schultz, but this guy's coming from a college background wrestling. He's gonna be good on the ground, and his striking looks good too, man. He was throwing a lot of kicks, as you can see here, but he was throwing a lot of kicks, throwing a lot of powerful shots. He hits like a fucking truck too, man. This guy, he's more of a raw talent guy. Like I said, I'd like to see him take a couple, middleweight bums like someone like Josh Frem or fucking Brundage, something like that, where he can just go in there and just beat the hell out of those guys. I think this guy is very good. He is the material to be a top 5 guy, in my opinion, at middleweight, man. He can wrestle. He can take you down. He's powerful as fuck on the feet. He reminds me of Joe Pyfer, honestly. Like, it's very similar. I think in the sense he's a bit more athletic than Joe Pyfer, but I think Joe Pyfer hits, a good amount harder. Like, Joe Pyfer hits hard as fuck. Come on. But Mansur Abdul-Malik has a very bright future in this sport. I mean, dude, I'm telling you, that finish was brutal. Wes Schultz was fucking beaten to a damn pulp, and I mean, I don't even know how that guy survived. I really don't. So one-sided. It was so one-sided on for Mansur Abdul-Malik, and I'm excited to see what this guy can do. Like I said, I don't think he's as ready as these other guys, the first 2 guys I mentioned, but he's got the raw talent. I do believe he's very young as well. Yeah, he's 26. Look, he wrestled at Maryland. That's right. He trains out of MMA Masters. He's good, man. He's getting better. His striking looked fantastic. And I'm excited to see what this guy can do. Next up, coming in at the number 2 spot, I have Austin Bashi. Last week, Austin Bashi put on a masterclass. Now, look, I like Austin Bashi a lot. I talked about him in my top 5, contenders in like to look out for. I talked about him in that video. My issue with Austin Bashi, I'm gonna get this out of the way. I don't know if he's big enough for featherweight. He said he can't make bantamweight anymore, but when it comes to this guy's skill set, undeniable. Look, I was talking about how Dorian Ramos could fight it out and maybe try to weather the storm early and get Bashi tired. I don't think we're ever going to see Bashi tired. I mean, his wrestling is, bro, it is fucking crazy. His wrestling is, right now, it's really, really high level. I mean, this guy won the IBJJF title or championship for no-gi brown belt. And I believe he's 22 years old. I mean, he's 22 years old. Look, if we're talking about a real prospect, not Raul Rosas. Like, I fuck with Raul Rosas. Austin Bashi would smash Raul Rosas. He would, if he could make bantamweight, obviously. But look, on the feet, we haven't seen much, but I've seen him fight on the feet, and I think he's good on the feet as well. He's got some good low kicks. He's got some good boxing. And one thing I've noticed about him, he's really fucking fast. And on top of that, cardio for days, high level on the ground, very high level. I'm talking up there with the top 5 high level on the ground. I really do believe he is that good on the ground. But look, man, I think, he's sunk in that choke on Dorian Ramos. Fuck, bro, what am I doing? Dorian Ramos is a guy who is durable, tough, and he couldn't hang. Dorian Ramos has great cardio. He was fucking gassing, leaping for air after the first round, and Bashi came to that corner and was not tired at all. So this makes me think that Bashi's gas tank is incredible. He's got some very good wins on the regional scene as well. I talked about this before. Askar, LFA guy who was on his way to possibly being in the UFC. Askar's a good fighter. Bashi dismantled him and beat him to a decision easily. Dude, this guy is going to be a very good fighter. He, like I said, 22 years old, and as if he can jump in the fire immediately. I don't know yet, because I don't know if he's going to go back to bantamweight, but he seems firm on staying at featherweight, and I do think he'll have a ton of success there, but I really would like to see him go to bantamweight. Like I said, man, this guy's cardio, his wrestling, his jiu-jitsu is extremely high level. I think it's, A+, high tier. He's going to be a problem for anyone fighting in the featherweight division. Like I said, reminds me a little bit, a little bit of Marab. I can't say fully because I don't know. I haven't seen him go that long, right? But his cardio against Dorian Ramos impressed me. And I think it was due to him not cutting a ton of weight to trying to suck in to make that bantamweight. So maybe that was the deal. He is 5'6" at featherweight. That's pretty fucking small. But we've seen a lot of guys have success. I don't think, it's going to stop him from being a top 5 and possibly a champion. I mean, if I'm being real, bro, this guy's got everything. His striking is still developing a little bit more. But, man, I really don't know who could stop him, stop the takedowns and stop the pressure from Austin Bashi, and he's the future. Coming in at number 1. I got to do it, man. I got to do it. I got to have my boy here. Look, I don't want to be like that because I talked about Lone'er Kavanagh, and I said in my top 5, guys to look out for, I put Lone'er Kavanagh at 1. Lone'er Kavanagh's coming on the show, fighting Antoine Ho, a guy that trains at an MMA lab with Sean O'Malley, with all those guys, great guys at bantamweight. He knocked him out in the first round with a nasty check hook, and I'm not talking about a knockout, a TKO. Antoine Ho was out cold for minutes. It might have reached, 5 or 10 minutes. He was out cold. He was out cold, sleeping. Look, when I'm talking about anybody on the feet in flyweight, he's the best striker at flyweight. I don't want to hear Urseg. I don't want to hear Cara France. Lone'er Kavanagh is the best striker at flyweight. I will stand by that. I don't care. Look, and that's why he's number 1. Because he's the best striker at flyweight. I need you to hear me. He's fucking insane. He switches stances. He's so good with his timing. His check hook, as you saw, I talked about it in my top 5, prospects to look out for Dana White. Way before Contender Series had started, I talked about that left hook, and I talked about, his timing, his speed, his movement. This guy is one of the best strikers on the roster. I'm going to keep it simple. You talk about Alex Pereira, you talk about any other good striker, Ilya Topuria, Max Holloway, he's up there, man. I don't care. From what I've seen on the regional scene to what I've seen, in that fight versus Antoine Ho, this guy is so fucking high level on the feet, man. It's so technical. His calf kicks are fantastic. His head kicks, he throws anything, man. I remember seeing one of these knockouts from Cage Warriors, and it was just beautiful. He did a step back 1-2. Oh my gosh, man. I can't get enough. I can't talk about it enough. I talked about his striking. I don't know how good his wrestling is. I mean, look, I'm assuming that's going to be his biggest flaw because he's so good on the feet. I think people are going to be trying to take this guy down. But I'm serious, man. I think this guy's the best striker at flyweight. I really do. I'm not going to sit here and say if he goes to fight Pantoja or a top 15 guy, he'd kill him easily because I don't know. But he's young and he's going to have a lot of time to develop. But I'm telling you on the feet, man, this guy, he's going to have anybody shooting for takedowns. He'll have Cara France shooting for takedowns. I'm that serious, man. This guy is a problem. His kicks, like I said, his kicking game is beautiful. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see this guy fight, man. I believe he's already booked. I can't remember where, but I think he's already booked versus another, up-and-coming contender. And he's a striker, the guy he's fighting. He's going to floor him, man. I don't know who is beating this guy on the feet, man. I don't know. And, that's going to wrap it up for me. I hope y'all boys enjoyed, and I will catch y'all on the next one.